Hello. Let me make sure that people can hear me because I did this last time and I was muted. So let me make sure. Make sure this shit works. Hello. Make sure this shit works. Hey. Hello. Make sure this shit works. Hey. Hello. Make sure this shit works. Okay, fine. Okay. I lied though. I'm not actually ready. Whoops. Hello. Let me just move all this shit. Set up. Okay. Whoops. Went live before I was even ready to record. But shit happens. I just finished making the theme song for it too. Came out great. So yeah. Let me actually go live now. And we are back. Hello, hello. Welcome to PODQUARiUM. Hey, what's up? Hello. This is PODQUARiUM. This is me talking to a microphone and discussing a various amount of topics submitted by you, whoever you are, the listener. Thank you. All right. A little update about my life first, I guess. It's been a month since I did one of these. I'm working on new album, Puzzle 2, which will be out for my birthday, February 15. It's going to be great. I got Salamander Sam on it, Stanley Valentine, Macy. I got Polo Perks on it. So that's, you remember how earlier we talked about not getting that placement from Polo Perks, like when I was, when I did my first PODQUARiUM ever? Well, he finally sent it in, kind of out of the blue too. And, fire. I was waiting on that. Took like 5 months, but hey, it got done. So I am thankful and I'm grateful that it worked out, So you're gonna hear that on the album because it'll be on the album, and I'm gonna do some tweaks on it. It's gonna be fire, Gotta put that shit on the album because it'll be really good. Just artistically and also like for publicity, like it's definitely both. I'm not gonna lie, like it's gonna be good to have someone reputable like Perks on the album, and also it just came out fire. I was kind of hesitant at first, but that's because I'm jaded because of just the whole experience. But now that I have it and time has passed and I've listened to it a handful of times, it's fire. It'll fit well on the album. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, that's really all that's been going on in my life. Just trying to get a new job, work, etc., etc. So now that we got that out of the way, thanks for tuning in once again. Hope you like the theme song. And we're going to start with the first question from none other than Stanley Valentine, a frequent collaborator, native Australian, all around amazing fucking person. Um, Super talented, super versatile. Um, so yeah, big shout out to Stanley Valentine. Go fuck with him if you don't. Listen to his shit. Follow him. Super dope guy. But anyway, he posed the question: how did you start producing and recording? Which I think is honestly always like a great story to tell. It's like great insight into, you know, my background and why I do what I do. And the first interview I actually ever did, and the only interview I ever did, which was before I moved to LA in Asheville, I kind of touched on this a little bit. But honestly, in the interview, like I just felt a little, what's the word? Like I didn't really know the guy. So, and I didn't have any of my friends with me. So it was kind of not uncomfortable, but like I wasn't able to fully be myself and give myself the space I really needed to explain. I was kind of abiding by someone else's template, which is okay. I mean, I don't really love the interview watching it back later, but there's some decent information there. It's worth checking out. Um, the one thing I'll never forget, though, that the guy said that I sound like Travis Scott, or that Travis Scott's a huge influence. And I mean, maybe he was in like 2015 for me, when like that sound was cool. But like this interview was like 6 months ago or 8 months ago. It's like I don't feel like my music sounds anything like Travis Scott. But it's like when anyone says like, "Oh, Cardi clones, you all sound like Cardi." It's like, no, I mean, obviously there are people that sound like Cardi, but people just take anything with like a nasal inflection and sometimes high pitched vocals or this baby voice, they say, and they just say that's Cardi. It's like, okay, like people say BK the Rula bites Cardi and sounds like Cardi. People say fucking Coil Ray sounds like Cardi. Like, I don't see that at all. I don't know what the fuck those people are smoking, but I don't understand that comment at all. I don't think neither of them sound like Playboy Cardi. But anyway, I'm getting really distracted. So, how I started producing and recording music. Well, this goes all the way back to high school, you know. Um, well, if you want the full timeline, let's just get it all out here so it's out there, you know. Um, I was in band from 6th grade to 12th grade. All of middle school, all of high school, I was in band. Played a bunch of different instruments, and yeah. Then the middle school years aren't as important. I guess I'm just trying to say I've been in band and I've played instruments most of my life. And when I was in high school, ninth or 10th grade, I was running around with a group of friends that, we were more into like indie music, like Animal Collective and Neutral Milk Hotel and Radiohead. So my first real insight kind of into like producing music was actually even before that. Sorry, I'm getting the timeline mixed up. When I was like 16, me and my best friend Zen, we were into hip hop, and I got mainly introduced to the underground scene first because when I started off, I was just not really a huge fan of the mainstream, um, which I feel like is like I didn't really get into Lil Wayne until like well after his popularity. You know what I mean? And I still respect Wayne as an artist or whatever, but I'm just that annoying person that like doesn't check shit out if there's too much hype around it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. Um, my first instances of producing and recording music were I was into like Danny Brown, MF Doom, Das Racist. Like that was my favorite introduction group. Like those were my favorite artists when I first got introduced to like especially MF Doom, the world of producing your own shit, recording your own shit. You know, like I always loved the idea since MF Doom of an artist producer, like someone that produces their own shit and is also an artist. So the first songs ever created were all made on fucking GarageBand beats, and honestly, some of them are out on YouTube. You'll probably never find them because I went under a completely different alias. But there are very early, like 16, 15-year-old me beats on YouTube. And I had no professional equipment, so everything I recorded vocally sounded like complete trash because I didn't know how to mix either. And it was just recorded on like Apple headphones. You know what I mean? Like the ones that come with the iPhone. And I would just plug it into my computer and record vocals like that. And I'm sure those songs are also somewhere out there. I actually released a project, my first project ever, when I was like 17, I think. And this one is on YouTube, but I'll never tell you how to find it. And it was all recorded on like Apple headphones, and I got on fucking 6-foot, 7-foot B, and what else? Like a Haji Beats beat. Yeah. So that was a whole era. But that's how I began, is that was like my inception into the world of making my own beats and recording to it, you know? And like I said, MF Doom was one of my favorite all-time artists, still is. But that was the beginning. And then I kind of, you know, I wasn't good enough to really be confident in myself to do anything after I put a project out. You know, back then, I feel like I touched on this in some earlier podcasts, but back then I thought like, oh, it doesn't matter how my shit sounds. Like I'm spitting fire. Like that's all that matters. I'm going to get noticed. And obviously now as a producer, engineer, and artist, I realize that's not how it is at all. You just need to sound good. You can say fucking nothing, but if you sound good, that's a hit. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I was of the complete opposite school of thought, where I'm like, yeah, I can't mix music for shit. It all sounds like fucking garbage, but I'm spitting fire. Please notice me. I'm 16. So it's just so funny thinking about that shit. Water break. And I'm back. And then I took kind of like a little break from hip hop from the ages probably like late 16 to like 17 and some of 18. Where I like I went the complete opposite direction. Not the complete opposite, but like I was saying earlier, I got more into Animal Collective and Radiohead and started like doing acid and Molly all the time. And like smoking excessive amounts of weed, which I already did, but now it was mixed with a bunch of other shit. So I joined a band. Well, I made a band with some other group of friends that I had. And my next steps, experiences recording music was literally just fucking voice noting our band recordings on my phone, which those also do exist. They're on my computer. Maybe I'll play some right now just so y'all have an idea of what it was like. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. This is what one of the songs when I was 16 sounds like too. And then here's one of the beats. So as you can see, I've come a long way since that. And after that little, I don't want to say hiatus, because I love being in a band, honestly. I was the drummer, you know? I love it. I still want to play drums today. Haven't done it in many years, but, you know, I feel like to kind of tie it more all together, I only played low brass and classical instruments in band up until I joined a band. And then I started playing drums, and that's what I really fell in love with, is drumming. And that's why I got my first drum machine when I was like 18. And then I also joined jazz band and was a jazz drummer too. So, and jazz, especially with so much of it, has to do with like hip hop and like sampling nowadays, especially. So it was just kind of like the perfect concoction to then get to the point where like I'm in the last year of high school, out of high school, and I kind of reconnect again with Zen and my other group of friends, and we would just like record ourselves freestyling and beatboxing all the time, just making music all the time. And around that time is when we made the first official song together as Grayside. This was like the first Grayside project, not even project, song ever. And Grayside was like this label that was started by Zen and his friend. It was more of like an ideology, and it became a label. Um, and the four that were like the four that was on the song, which is the first song we ever dropped, was me, Zen, um, Alan, who is now raised by wolves and is doing his thing in LA, and then Ekaj, which is Jake Renard. And he dropped off the face of the earth, so I have no idea where the fuck he is. But Alan's here in LA. I'm trying to link up with him. But here's what that song was. Oh, thanks. That is Noid Gaming. So that's what that song was. And that was like the first official release. And, you know, I was just, it was literally the first anything Grayside that had ever dropped was that. It was that single with the four of us on it. And nowadays, like the whole label or whatever is only owned and ran by Zen and I. Because, like I said, Jake dropped off the face of the fucking earth. I have no idea what he's doing. And Alan went and did his own thing. Like he moved out to LA like many years ago. Like when we were like 20 or 20. Yeah, like 21. Like a couple of years ago, half a decade ago, something like that. So yeah, he'd been out in LA, and then Zen and I kind of just like kept it going. Kept making music, and then I realized that it was that session when we recorded that I realized like I just paid $200 to have a song mixed and mastered that I didn't really get a lot of input on at all in terms of how it was supposed to sound, and I just realized like that wasn't the way it was going to be from then on. Like I needed to learn how to do it myself because then I'd have all the input. I wouldn't have to pay anyone, and it would just like pay off way more in the long run because I'd really be able to just make shit how I want to make shit. And I guess that's where I got to the point that I started mixing, mastering, recording, producing all my own shit. It was after like that time around that session where I just wanted to take it more serious because I'm like, we have something we can actually do. And I don't have the money to be paying $200 to do one song, and to have somebody else record. So I'm also like not in my complete zone when I'm in an environment with somebody else that I don't really know that well. And yeah. Thanold is gaming. Who the fuck even are you? Goodbye. Let me see. Oh shit! I gotta take this call. Goodbye.